This is the ParksFest Podcast. Connect with us now on Facebook and Twitter at ParksFest and online at ParksFestEvansville.com.
Dodger from 107.5 WABX with Alex Mourer. Mr. ParksFest, that's what I call him. You can just call him, I don't know, what do people call you?
The ParksFest guy.
Oh, I love that. That's good.
Yeah.
You should go with that. You should really go with that.
The ParksFest guy.
The ParksFest guy. So Dodger and the ParksFest guy with the first ever, it's not an annual thing, maybe we'll do this more than once a year, ParksFest Podcast.
Yeah.
What are we going to call this thing?
I don't know, man. I just top of my head came up with ParksFest sit-downs, but...
that sounds really intimate.
Well, the lighting in here...
it's a little cozy. We're going to burn a little incense here in a bit and really get things going.
Yeah.
We got to come up with a good name for this. Maybe we'll put it out on Twitter or something like that in your Facebook community. What should we call the ParksFest Podcast?
Yeah, that kind of has...
Although the ParksFest Podcast does really sound smooth.
It does, yeah.
I don't want to take credit for that, but I will.
You don't get credit for anything that goes on in here.
That's usually the way it works with me and microphones and things like that. So ParksFest, what's the date on that again?
It is September 19th.
September 19th. I've marked my calendar. I'm sure everybody out there listening and watching has.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Because hopefully this is going on video somehow. Because that's what the world needs.
Video.
The two of us idiots on video. So what's planned for ParksFest? Because you've got some big announcements coming up. Are you going to go ahead and announce those now, or are we going to save them for later?
I think we could probably talk about it. Right. The big thing with ParksFest last year, we'll kind of talk a little bit about last year and lead into this year. We were primarily a local music festival. Mm-hmm. Part of that was design, but another part was, it was a first year event and there was no money there.
Sure.
So I mean, it is, get the best available that we can with the budget available. Last year it was very well received. I think I can say that.
I think for the people that were there, I think they would attest to that. I mean,
yeah.
The people there certainly seemed to enjoy it, and they were there all day, and seemed to really have a great time. That's why I was coming back.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, 2.0. Yeah. So I mean, we kind of want to play off that, and we don't want the same festival every year. So and in order to do that, we need kind of a fresh crop of musicians. Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah. That works. So, kind of start, look outside of Evansville and, still try to put on a quality concert.
So you're saying we're growing.
We're growing. Yes. That's a good way to put it. So this year, we are able to bring in, 3, national acts. You could possibly even say 4, due to, maybe the quality and the, he tours a lot. The fourth, the guy on the fringe there, he's somewhat local, but Bosco France, he plays everywhere. He won a national guitar competition out in Los Angeles. Yeah, that's pretty, better than anything I've ever done on guitar.
Well, self-taught, no thanks to you, Pops.
So we have Bosco France, he's coming up, but then on top of that, we have a kind of a wide range here of national talents coming in. One is Willie Watson.
See right. See what you gonna do.
He used to play in the very popular bluegrass band Old Crow Medicine Show. Yeah, they're in the Grand Ole Opry.
And he's played recently in a lot of high-profile places. I saw that just the other day. He was headlining down in Nashville at a show down there. So certainly a guy that's known throughout that scene.
Absolutely. And he's very, very talented. He was one of the, whenever we were coming back around, after last year and kind of already, ParksFest was on September 13th last year, right? 12th?
I would have to check my last year's T-shirt. But I'm not
You think I would know that? His promoter.
It had a teen in there somewhere.
Yeah. So like the next day, I mean, I was already looking towards next year, riding off the high of,
Sure.
How awesome it was, or in my mind, how awesome.
And surprisingly enough, it took you until now to book all their days.
That is true. He was one very early on that I wanted to grab, just and maybe for selfish reasons, because I think he's so awesome.
Fanboy.
So yeah, we have Willie Watson. He's going to be kind of more of your I I can't really compare anybody to a Bob Dylan, but like you don't go see Bob Dylan thinking you're going to dance. You're going to go and sit in your chair and listen, listen to quality music. And that's kind of what Willie Watson brings to the table.
And that's kind of what ParksFest is built around. I mean, that's kind of what or your vision and what people who have jumped on board with that vision have kind of followed along with. You want to have a good show, you want to be entertained, but it's not one of those. We're not throwing a mosh pit out there.
Right, absolutely.
It's going to be an entertaining, quality music show that you're going to
absolutely.
dig.
Yeah,
and he fits well into that mold.
Yeah, absolutely. And with having so many, not so many, but having a few national touring acts, kind of a invested acts,
More proven acts.
Absolutely, yeah.
More street cred, I think is what kids would say.
Yeah, we can move them earlier in the day. So that's a lot of the traffic that we get is families that enjoy listening to music, listening to live music,
sure.
But can't maybe afford to take their whole family to a concert at the Ford Center, or because they are a family, they can't go to a Lamasco's and hear some of the quality music that comes through there.
So aside from Willie Watson, what are we looking at on the national side, or
yeah,
quote unquote big names that you've
sure.
got on the list? We're growing, we're building, we're moving up.
Yeah,
we're stepping up that ladder.
So the next one that we can talk about is a band that some people may or may not have heard of. This band played at the WC Handy Fest down in Henderson last year, and that's kind of how we discovered them. But it's Davina and the Vagabonds.
You see, I would rather go blind, boy.
Kind of a like a New Orleans jazz blues style of music.
Another perfect fit for what ParksFest was built on.
Absolutely, and again, it's a band that can play a little bit earlier in the day. We're getting to evening hours now. Supper time ish. The sun's starting to go down, and focus is kind of getting away from the other things going on at the festival and honing in on the music. And I think that's it's gonna be a fantastic band to check out. My wife is absolutely in love with this band and the sound that they bring. So.
I'm not going to question her taste, but I mean,
yeah.
Well, I won't question her taste in music, at least.
Right? Yeah. I'm very excited to to hear Davina live. I actually I've heard so much Davina music, YouTube and. Your favorite Pandora. You're a big fan of Pandora and all that stuff. Heard a lot of her stuff on there, and obviously, did my research and figuring out if she would be a good fit, and I'm very thrilled to bring her in.
All right. Keep going up the ladder then.
All right.
Where we're at as we start making our way into the evening hours. Sun's dropping a little bit. I've had a couple of colds from the beer garden.
Yeah.
Now what are we starting to do to start of the night picking up a little bit?
We start to rock a little bit. After Davina, we just talked about Bosco. Bosco's gonna bring us into the night, get you pumped up. He's a hell of a guitar player.
And a good rock and blues sound. Anybody that's checked out some of this stuff before, of course, he's played locally a lot. From the area, so many people would be familiar. Hopefully, a big crowd, big turnout for him, and turning up the volume a little bit. In the speakers.
Yeah. So after that though, we are pretty excited about kind of the way we're into the night, and
all right, this is big now. Nobody really has been. This is, if I'm going to say right, maybe the first time people hear who the headliner for ParksFest 2015 is going to be.
Yeah.
And I feel some sort of drum roll is probably needed.
We could do that post-production or something.
Well, we got that kind of time and money and then people.
Yeah. So, this year we're able to bring in Shooter Jennings.
I heard the sound of my dear old mama crying. The sound of the train that took me.
Shooter Jennings is the son of country legend, country outlaw legend, Waylon Jennings. it's very exciting. If you would have told me, last year or, when this thing was, just starting to, culminate, I guess, in my head, that, the second year we were going to be able to bring in somebody like Shooter Jennings, I would have told you you're full of shit. It's
This is a family-friendly podcast.
it's more real this way.
Evidently.
Yeah.
No, that's a great get because that's somebody who's got some name credibility. Certainly, a lot of people know him from not only his father but from his own work.
Right.
The guy's got a catalog of music that is pretty extensive.
Yeah.
A strong following. He's played locally before to some pretty successful shows.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty exciting way to end the night.
Yeah. Well, what's cool about what Shooter's doing now, he's touring with his dad's old band, which is the Waymore's Outlaws. And,
wouldn't be much more, newsworthy if he were actually touring with his dad. But I don't. Can we get can we get the hologram that Kanye had?
Like the Tupac.
Do that?
Yeah, I mean that would be unique for sure. Maybe next year.
I don't know how much that costs.
A little
but we need to
larger
get a
budget.
hologram.
Yeah. So I mean that's to a lot of people, they probably don't know Waylon Jennings' band's name. But there's probably, a large group of Waylon Jennings fans that are like, Waymore's Outlaws. That's awesome. So what he's doing is he's on a tour right now. The tour is called I'm Playing Possum. And what he's doing is basically he's paying tribute to not only his dad but to George Jones. So
the possum himself.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, this is a guy that he grew up with the George Jones, with Waylon, with Johnny Cash, with Willie Nelson, all these these legends.
Seriously, can you imagine that childhood? Just like that.
Yeah.
Let me put Shooter Jennings. I'm more interested now in his childhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine the craziness that happened?
I bet he has some crazy
in the Jennings
stories.
House.
Yeah.
Son, clean up your room. Cash is coming over. He's been drinking again.
Well, I mean, I don't know how. Obviously, you're a rocker.
Get Willie's bowl ready. By that I mean bowl of Wheaties, I'm sure.
Right? Yeah, he's got to get his Wheaties in.
Willie Nelson. Yes.
But I mean, his mom is Jessie Coulter, and I don't know if you're very familiar, but she's like outlaw Dolly Parton. I mean, she is.
I mean, we're talking hierarchy here. We're talking royalty.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
That field, and like I said, this is certainly not taking anything away from him because he's got a strong catalog and has a lot of music and has done it for a long time. This is a guy who grew up in it.
Yeah,
was inundated with
in
that
the mix
sound.
of that outlaw
And
country
strong.
boom.
Yeah, and a rock and roll edge to it as well. I mean, because if you go back and listen to any of that outlaw country, it's literally country with that rock feel to it. You've got a little bit of a twang, but you've still got a solid
edge.
Yeah,
I'm not taking your crap, and I'm going to do it my own way.
It's
and that's
Southern
rock and
rock
roll.
that just ended up on country radio.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a lot of that fits that mold. So
Yeah.
if you're a Southern rock fan, if you're a guy who likes Skinnerd or Allman Brothers or Blackfoot or any of those bands like that, you're going to dig something like Shooter Jennings.
Yeah. Shooter Jennings is, I would probably classify him in a, Southern rock style. I guess kind of like your current Southern rock does kind of wind up on, country radio these days. But I mean, he's definitely, it has that feel. So like, he's, in his I'm Playing Possum, it's an album, I think that, it's called that. And his tour, and what he's done is taken some old, George Jones songs and Waylon Jennings songs and put like a Southern rock style to it. He's playing George Jones songs with a, electric guitar that's, distorted, and I mean he's rocking it, and it's really neat.
I've said before, I'm not leaving until he plays Poncho and Lefty. I thought we went back to his childhood, though. Can you imagine what he got for Christmas from, Willie Nelson or Chris Christopherson or,
Yeah,
Ash or any of those guys?
That's pretty wild. I mean, just to think like what he would have grown up with.
I'm sure it was much like my childhood.
Yeah, probably
like
pretty
any
identical.
other kid.
Yeah.
Had a bike, 12 of them.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's the headliner,
Mhm.
Shooter Jennings, ParksFest going to close out the night.
Absolutely.
That's a big leap.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a big leap from last year.
It is. Yeah, it's.
And are we prepared for this?
I don't know if we have a choice.
Honestly, I say we like I'm doing anything with
Yeah?
this. I'm just sitting here behind a microphone pretending to be like, in charge of anything. So,
Well, you
are you prepared for this?
I don't know, man. I better be, right? No, it's it is very exciting, and we have a lot of support from the city. Not like support like here we're throwing money at you to do this thing, but
even just verbal support and support.
Absolutely.
Hey, you're doing a good job. We're looking forward to this event. Goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, I have a fairly good relationship with Mayor Winnicky now, and
Name dropper.
Yeah. And I see him, and last year he performed. Him and Amy Rivers
They
were.
call you Mr. ParksFest too.
Maybe if you can't remember my name.
ParksFest guy.
Hey, ParksFest guy. I think we're getting a little bit better now. I think
It's because of the shirts, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's why I wear the
because of
shirts.
shirts.
Yeah.
So people know you.
But yeah, so I see him, and every time maybe he's just fishing for something to talk to me about. I'm not sure, but he always he
That's a
references.
good looking shirt.
He references his performance last year. Him and Amy sang "Ring of Fire." Maybe that was somehow a tie into Johnny Cash.
No,
to bring in Shooter.
No, I don't think it was.
No, probably not. But I mean, he's ever since then, I see him. He's everywhere. So if you go to any sort of community event, you're gonna see him. But
Let's take a good picture.
Yeah,
Not camera shy.
no, and he's not. Yeah, I mean, he's really not shy at all. And for this year, he's signed up to perform again. And he's pretty well leaving it up to me to decide what he sings.
So basically, we've gotten to the point now where we're searching via our ParksFest Facebook and Twitter followers for a show name for this.
Yeah.
ParksFest Podcast doesn't work out
Yeah.
for us. We're taking suggestions. Also, apparently, we're now taking suggestions, as I just made this up, for songs for the mayor to sing.
Absolutely.
So if you got them, go ahead and send
Yeah,
them. Hashtag Mayor ParksFest.
Mayor Parksfest.
And
Yeah, but I think it'd be it'd be really funny to embarrass him. I think that is that should be a
so Fat Bottom Girls is at the top of the list.
well, so he likes show tunes. He likes musicals. So like Queen kind of is somewhat
I have two
theatric.
words for you. Iron Butterfly.
Iron Butterfly.
Inagata-Davida.
I'm really pushing hard for "I Want You to Want Me." I think he can get up there, get the crowd into it. That's what he wants, man. He's up for re-election. He wants everybody to want him.
We'll go with
Maybe embarrass him along the way.
So send your suggestions. Mayor ParksFest. Just
Yeah.
hashtag that on Twitter and Facebook, and let us know which songs you think
Yeah.
the mayor should perform as he opens up.
We have a
ParksFest.
full band behind him this year too. So
Uh-oh.
and a
We've
very
stepped it
very 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 talented band. So I mean we're pretty well open to anything.
All right, we've hit on some of the national stuff, and this is always
Yeah.
cool to talk to the national stuff because I always dig that. We're both music nerds enough to
Yeah.
want to know what goes on and how those things work. And we've kind of gotten into that a little bit, and we will continue to. But the local guys,
Yeah.
they're still playing roles. I mean,
Absolutely.
we've still got a lot of local bands that are going to get a lot of great exposure, going to get a lot of great time on stage at the event, much like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so, who are those guys that are coming back around that we're going to see again?
Yeah, so people who played last year that are gonna come back. We'll just kind of go through the lineup here. Art the Dude. Art the Dude he's funny.
Anytime you can put a dude after your name too.
Yeah,
and one of these days I'm going to be Dodger the Dude.
Dodger the Dude.
And I'll be happy. Hopefully I'll be on a beach somewhere with a board and just be like, yeah, it's Dodger the Dude.
Dodger the
You know,
Dude. Your surfer tunes.
That's my fantasy world.
Yeah. So Art the Dude, he opened up ParksFest last year, did a fantastic job. So he comes, he'll play, he plays original music, very, fun, quirky, I guess, kind of, Americana.
Sure.
Then after he's done, he goes and he teaches children how to play the harmonica for free. So, like, he's going to perform at 11 o'clock. By 12:30, he's going to be set up in the kids area, with a microphone and his guitar and harmonica, and all the kids that are at ParksFest can come over to him, bug him, and he'll give them a free harmonica, and he'll teach them how to play it.
Which is cool. I mean, that's again. I mean, I've touched on it before. The ParksFest way of doing things.
Yeah.
ParksFest theory or philosophy.
Yeah.
That just kind of fits.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's the kind of thing we want. We don't want to be exclusive. Like, if you can't afford a $20 ticket, a $10 ticket, a $5 ticket, we don't want you to feel like you can't come and enjoy. So
we're not leaving anybody out.
Yeah, absolutely.
We want everybody to come down.
Yep, absolutely. There's no VIP areas. There's no, except for your spot, of course. Yeah. So rolling on through other bands that you may have heard last year, Osceola.
Great.
Yeah, Osceola. They
I've picked
tour
up
everywhere.
a ton of following in the last
well, they're
year
talented.
and a half.
I mean,
They're
they deserve it,
and a great following locally and regionally. And every time I see them posting on Instagram or Twitter, it's, hey, we're on tour in Vegas or Europe or somewhere. So band's great to come back home and perform for the people that they know.
Yeah,
but a band has really done well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're working their butts off to get their name out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you go on the road and tour and, step out of their comfort zone and really try to make it work for them. So, fantastic band and we're happy to have them back. A big surprise from last year, surprise to not so much me because I knew that they were talented, but to a lot of people that came to ParksFest.
I know where you're going.
Factor Primo.
Yep. I love them.
Gosh,
they're
man.
Great.
They I feel like they're different than any other band we really have here in Evansville. Energetic. I mean, some of the most talented musicians.
And it's hard to even describe what they do, really. It's kind of like a jazz fusion, rock kind of. It goes across the board.
Right.
With what they do. It's really super talented. It sounds great.
Yeah. So we, after ParksFest last year, I sent out kind of like a survey of, kind of what did you think of ParksFest? And gosh, I feel like, over half of them, I felt like, that could be kind of stretching a little bit, but a lot of them, a lot of the comments just, it was just touching on like Factor Primo and how like, you have to have them back next year. Yeah. They were so awesome. I had so many people. My father-in-law is now a huge fan of Factor Primo. Kind of touching, my father-in-law, this is a very, I don't even know how to really describe ParksFest, but it's like, my family, and all my friends basically, were there and like we ran, like my father-in-law, he was basically the roadie. Like, he was driving a side-by-side, a little mule, packing in music equipment all day long, and he loved it. And he's like super excited to come back next year.
And if you ran across anybody in a ParksFest t-shirt last year that said staff on the back, odds are good it was probably a member somewhere in the chain, related. In the tree, one side or the other.
Yeah.
To Mr. ParksFest.
Yeah. Family or friend. Yeah.
They work for free, by the way.
Everybody
which is the best part.
Yeah.
There's a reason why the family did it.
Yeah.
I hope they got super nice Christmas gifts. That's all I say.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that might be it that's coming back. So Art, Osceola. Honeyvines. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes I forget my lineup.
It's a big lineup.
Yeah. So the Honeyvines, gosh, I don't know if you can say enough about the Honeyvines. They are extremely talented songwriters.
Yeah. And if you're anywhere in the Evansville area on the weekend, usually you'll run across them somewhere playing out.
Yeah, they play a lot here locally. Sometimes you run into that, like, maybe they may play too much and like everybody's heard, every song, but I don't feel like that at all with the Honeyvines. I feel like, they can keep playing for, as long as we do this thing and they're, they're talented enough that people like to hear them. They can do, they'll play, Whitney Houston and then do like a Janis Joplin. So not Whitney Houston. Gosh.
Which would be a bit of a stretch.
Dolly Parton was the one I was going for there. So,
Totally.
Yeah, they sing the same song. But yeah, totally different people there.
No, so that's a cool lineup from top to bottom. We had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the expectations from last year coming off that, we kind of had a feeling it was going to be a big second run.
Yeah.
So we'll look forward to it. We'll see what happens. The date again at September 19th.
Yeah. Yeah, so
I just referenced my T-shirts. That's all.
One band we didn't really talk about was Calabash. Calabash was either last year or the year before. They won.
They're new to the list because they didn't play last year.
Right.
New to the lineup.
Yeah, they didn't play last year, but gosh, last year or the year before they won like best band in Evansville.
Battle of the Bands.
Very talented. I mean,
more hard workers. You see them out a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cutting their teeth.
Yeah. Then something that we love local music, and we really want to put local musicians in a spotlight like a national touring act gets.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the same the large scale reach that touring around and meeting all these people. But as far as just getting local musicians in front of people, in front of large crowds, that's something that we have done. We did last year. We're doing this year, and hopefully it's a tradition. So what we do in between these larger national acts, there's about a 30-minute changeover. Whenever with the bigger acts,
it's gonna take some time. Move some equipment around.
Yeah. So instead of having a dead time there,
I'm telling jokes, aren't I?
Yeah.
I bought a joke book. I'm good.
It is Dodgers quick joke segments here.
Page 46 is what I'm looking at right now.
So we picked 3 local I don't want to call them small time, but just single artist acts where it's just you'll have a
smaller scale.
Yeah, a guy and a guitar, a girl and a guitar. During the changeover, get up there and sing a song, maybe 2, depending on how we are on the schedule, and get their kind of like their few minutes of fame.
I don't want to say it, but that sounds a lot like an idea that I threw out last year. I'm going to be quite honest.
Yeah,
that sounds a lot like something that I may have suggested. At some
did
point
you suggest
in time.
that?
Side stage, perhaps. In between. I'm not going to nitpick on that, though. I'm not going to focus on that.
I don't listen to any of your ideas.
I know. It's just like any of the women in my life. All right, before we run out of time, because we're getting a little bit long, so we're going to finish this one up, and we'll, of course, have more of these to come. Hopefully, we continue to talk more and more about what's coming up
We'll
at
see how this
ParksFest.
one turns out.
I've got high expectations. Come on now. Not letting the bar low.
Yeah.
That bar is not sitting on the ground.
This is
way,
cool.
I can barely see it up in the sky.
This is a nice studio. Yeah.
Well,
here.
We paid top dollar here at ParksFest.
Yeah.
Briefly, the studio videos that we've been seeing on ParksFest Facebook.
Yeah.
And, the YouTube channel. Talk a little bit about that because those are cool. It's a good way to get those bands, again, more exposure. And those are usually the local bands that we're bringing in and shooting some video of. Also, a good way to give them some high quality video production that they can put in their portfolio and send off to whoever they need
Absolutely,
to.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of like it's another give back aspect of ParksFest, which is a really cool thing, which is something we don't have to do. I mean, I say we again.
Yeah.
I'm part of the team here, I'm guessing. Again, waiting for the paycheck.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
But it's a nice thing to do for the bands that are playing. I mean, not only putting them on display at ParksFest, but also helping them out early on in their careers too. That this may be something that they can use to book more gigs somewhere else down the road.
You answered it for me.
All right. What are you here for anyway?
You could have done this by yourself. Yeah, so just kind of touching on what I just said is, we want to put these local acts on that same level as some of these national touring acts, and some of these bands, they do a fantastic job of getting high quality content and putting it out there. Other bands, they might be extremely talented songwriters and musicians, but maybe it's just not there, for production, video production or sound production. You can't really fault them for that. I mean, it's just not their expertise. So in order to kind of put them on that level, we put them, we brought them into 77 Recording, which is at More Music. Put them in the in the recording studio and let them record a couple songs.
Sure.
And we brought a video production team in there as well,
which is really
them.
cool. And the video production team is from
Evansville
and
Ivy Tech.
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't know where you're going.
It's
with
like a quiz, answer in the form of a question here. It's not Jeopardy. But Ivy Tech students, though.
Yeah.
So again, another form of helping out.
Absolutely.
Giving
yeah.
them a good project to work on that maybe is more enjoyable than going out and shooting,
Yeah.
bees floating around.
Yeah. So all the local musicians that are playing in ParksFest, they all get a free recording session with a free video that they can take. 1 week and promote, them.
Yep.
Come see,
Sure.
the Honey Vines, and here's this awesome video to check out to really
It's
get
a
a feel.
It's a great scratch your back, we'll scratch yours.
Yeah, and now they have this video, like a very high quality video that it is ParksFest branded.
Sure.
We do have the logo on there, so we get a little bit of advertising.
What's the band's
out of it.
responses for that been? I mean, what's the response been with
Man,
all those bands? I mean, I'm guessing they're excited about it.
Yeah. For the most part, it's been pretty awesome. Just kind of seeing their reaction, like, I can't believe you're doing this for us. But we have had some experiences, just kind of getting my feet wet with dealing with bands, and kind of how they are. I won't name any names, but it was kind of trying sometimes. I have learned that bass players are generally the worst. I can't say that for all bass players, but if we had any issues with people like not showing up or being late or being hard to deal with, it's typically a bass player.
Yeah. Bass players, they've kind of got that feel.
Yeah, I expected the drummers, but it wasn't the drummers, it was the bass player.
All right, as our cameras are falling apart here because it's a high quality production.
Only the best.
We'll do it again.
Yeah.
So it's ParksFest again, September 8th.
19th, gosh.
You would think I'd know that by now.
I'm going to write it, yeah.
September 18th. I'll be there Friday.
Yeah, I'll be there Friday. We'll be setting up Friday night. So
it's all right. This is fun. So there you go. There's ParksFest Podcast 1 in the books. We'll do it again, and we'll next time. Hey, we got lots of things to talk about. So
we do. Yeah, we can bring in some musicians, and maybe we won't have to talk as much.
Nobody wants to hear us talk.
No.
All right, ParksFest Podcast 1. I'm Dodger. That's Mr.
I'm Alex.
ParksFest. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna. Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't know what we were doing.
You got an official name?
I do have
Alex.
a real name.
It's like it's a birth certificate or something like that. All right. We'll see you guys next time. ParksFest Podcast 1.
This has been the ParksFest Podcast. Thank you for listening. Follow ParksFest on Facebook and Twitter to learn more about ParksFest.